We said Bitcoin at $111,000 is headed to $200,000 effectively by Christmas.
The mystery grew darker with every year, until investigators uncovered a ghost wallet holding billions, controlled by a figure no one had ever seen. Then, in 2020, the United States government announced a shocking revelation. They had identified a mysterious figure known only as Individual X who had secretly controlled billions in stolen Bitcoin. This person had managed to stay hidden for almost a decade. The announcement raised more questions than answers. Who was Individual X? How did they get away with the biggest Bitcoin heist in history? And why did they suddenly give up the stolen fortune? Today on Viral Fact, we expose the billion-dollar Bitcoin hack, the rise and fall of Mt. Gox, the truth about Individual X, and the dark secrets of the cryptocurrency world.
Well, most of the equity analysts that follow our stock have target prices for Bitcoin, and they're all north of 150. Bitcoin represents a digital transformation of the capital markets, and so...
The story begins with Mt. Gox, once the largest Bitcoin exchange on Earth. Based in Tokyo, it handled more than 70% of all Bitcoin transactions. For early investors, Gox was the gateway to the crypto revolution, but in 2014 disaster struck. The exchange suddenly shut down, announcing that more than 850,000 Bitcoins had been stolen by hackers. At the time, the coins were worth around $450 million. Today, that fortune would be worth over $30 billion. The collapse destroyed confidence in Bitcoin and left thousands of investors bankrupt. Lawsuits erupted. The founder, Mark Karpels, faced charges of fraud and mismanagement. But the biggest mystery remained unsolved. Who stole the coin? Every clue pointed to the blockchain itself. But following Bitcoin is like chasing smoke through a hall of mirrors. For years, investigators tracked the missing Bitcoin through the blockchain. Unlike traditional money, every Bitcoin transaction is recorded publicly. But tracing stolen coins is like chasing shadows. Hackers use mixers, fake addresses, and hidden wallets to confuse investigators. Despite the challenges, analysts noticed a strange pattern. Large chunks of the stolen Bitcoin had moved into wallets controlled by a mysterious figure. That figure became known as Individual X. In 2020, the United States Department of Justice announced that Individual X had secretly agreed to give up control of the stolen coin. More than 69,000 Bitcoins were transferred to government-controlled wallet. At the time, those coins were worth more than $1 billion, making it the largest cryptocurrency seizure in history. But the announcement was filled with secrecy. The government refused to reveal the identity of Individual X. Who was this shadow? A genius hacker, a government agent, or something far stranger? This raised a storm of speculation. Who was this shadowy figure? Why had they returned the Bitcoin? And how had they hidden such an enormous fortune for nearly a decade? One theory is that Individual X was one of the original hackers of Mt. Gox. According to investigators, hackers had been stealing from the exchange for years, siphoning coins slowly rather than all at once. By 2014, they had drained hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins. Individual X may have been part of this group, or may have acquired the stolen coins later by hacking other hackers. Some experts believe that Individual X managed to steal the fortune from Alexander Vinnik, a Russian operator linked to the exchange BTC, which was accused of laundering Mt. Gox's stolen coin. If this theory is true, then Individual X was not the original thief, but someone who robbed the robber. Another theory is that Individual X was not a hacker at all, but a government agent or insider who gained access to the stolen coin. Some crypto enthusiasts argue that the secrecy surrounding Individual X's identity is proof that governments are hiding more than they admit. Perhaps the coins were never truly under the control of a private hacker. Perhaps they were taken as part of a larger intelligence operation. But why return the coins after so many years? That question is even stranger. According to court documents, Individual X signed an agreement with the United States government. In exchange for avoiding prosecution, they surrendered the Bitcoin. This suggests that the government knew who Individual X was and had enough leverage to force cooperation. Some believe this means Individual X was caught and had no choice. Others believe they struck a deal, trading coins for freedom. But the strangest part, Individual X never touched the fortune. For nearly 10 years, billions sat in silence, unspent, untouched, like treasure in a digital tomb. The mystery deepens because the blockchain shows that Individual X never spent the Bitcoin. For nearly 10 years, the coin sat untouched. Why would someone hold billions of dollars without ever using it? Was it fear of being caught? Or did Individual X never intend to profit, but simply to hide the coins until the time was right? Let us pause here and consider the bigger picture. Cryptocurrency was built on the promise of freedom from governments and banks. Yet, this story proves that even in the world of Bitcoin, power still finds a way to control. Individual X may have been a genius hacker or a shadowy insider, but in the end, the government took the coins back. It shows how fragile the idea of financial independence can be when billions are at stake. The seizure of Individual X's Bitcoin shocked the crypto world. It was the largest in history, but it also revealed the vulnerabilities of blockchain anonymity. While Bitcoin transactions are difficult to trace, they are not impossible. Governments are building new tools using artificial intelligence and blockchain analysis to track even the most hidden wallet. For criminals, this means the age of anonymous riches may be ending. But the legend of Individual X continues to haunt the crypto community. Some call them a Robin Hood figure who stole from corrupt exchanges and never spent the money. Others see them as a ghost, a reminder that in the digital age, even the most powerful hackers can be caught. Meanwhile, the Mt. Gox victims are still waiting for justice. Years after the collapse, bankruptcy proceedings are ongoing. Some investors may finally receive partial compensation, but the scars remain. For many, the name Individual X represents not just mystery, but betrayal. A single person controlled billions while thousands lost everything. The case also raises questions about the future of Bitcoin itself. If billions can vanish into hidden wallet, can the system ever be truly safe? If governments can force mysterious figures to surrender coin, can Bitcoin really be free from control? The story of Individual X reveals the paradox at the heart of cryptocurrency. It promises independence, but it is vulnerable to both hackers and regulators. Another fascinating theory is that Individual X was more than one person. Sometimes the biggest power isn't money itself, but the myth that surrounds it. The mystery of Individual X did more than terrify investors. It fueled a wave of legends in the crypto world. On dark web forums, whispers spread that Individual X wasn't just a hacker, but a symbol, proof that anyone could outsmart the system and vanish with untouchable riches. For some, Individual X became a hero figure, a digital ghost who defied governments and corporations. For others, they were a villain, proof that Bitcoin was nothing more than a playground for criminals. This mythology mattered because it shaped how people viewed cryptocurrency itself as either a tool of liberation or a weapon of chaos. In truth, the fear and fascination around Individual X may have been more powerful than the coins themselves, because myths spread faster than blockchains. And in the world of finance, fear can crash markets faster than any hacker ever could. Some analysts believe the coins were controlled by a group, possibly spread across different countries. This would explain how the wallet stayed untouched for so long. A group may have struggled to agree on how to move or spend the coin. In the end, one or more members may have cut a deal with the United States to protect themselves. This theory also matches the strange movements seen on the blockchain, where coins were transferred in patterns suggesting multiple hands at work. The secrecy of the government only fuels speculation. Why not reveal the identity of Individual X? Was it to protect intelligence operation? Was it because the person was too politically sensitive? Or was it because the truth would cause more chaos than calm? Some believe Individual X was connected to state actors, perhaps Russian hackers or even insiders from Mt. Gox itself. If that is true, revealing their name might expose international conflicts better left in the dark. Now let us look at the numbers. The 69,000 bitcoins seized were worth about $1 billion in 2020. By 2021, their value had skyrocketed to over $3 billion. This means that the decision of Individual X to surrender the coins cost them a fortune. Unless, of course, they had no choice. It is possible the deal was made before the rise in value, and by the time the world learned about it, the price had already exploded. This detail adds another layer of mystery. Did Individual X regret giving up the coins? Or did they walk away satisfied, knowing they had beaten the system for almost a decade? The billion-dollar Bitcoin hack exposes the fragile balance between technology, crime, and power. It shows us that even in a decentralized world, individuals can hold the keys to enormous wealth and influence. But it also shows that governments are never far behind, ready to strike when the time is right. So who is Individual X? A hacker genius? A government insider? A shadowy group with hidden agendas? The truth remains hidden, locked away in court files and secret deals. One mystery figure, one untouched fortune, and one unanswered question in a world built on digital freedom. Does anyone truly control their own money? The legend of Individual X will continue to haunt Bitcoin for years to come, because in the end, it is not just about who they are, but what they represent. The power of one mysterious figure to shake the foundations of a global financial revolution.